Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that I hold in high regard just by the quality of work that he did when he was here with us. Obviously, he's gotten a lot more experience now, and I think just whenever we go against a secondary that he's coaching, I mean, they are fundamentally sound. They challenge you. So I think he's a really good up-and-coming coach, and I'm sure it's only a matter of time before he gets his opportunity to become a coordinator in this league.
You guys, or you mentioned how some defenses are defending you quite a bit differently than what they show. Does that change how you go about the week for future teams, or is there too many variables?
No, I think absolutely you have to take into account to just you got to know yourself and some of the things that have given you challenges and account for that because that's what they're watching. So, you got to have a plan for both, I would say, and then just be able to react and pivot one way or the other. And that's one thing that I've always respected about Vic is they are going to challenge you. They're going to give you maybe some looks that are unaccounted for, but they're more than anything else. Those guys play hard and they play fundamentally sound. There's no gimmies out there.
So they had like 2 weeks to get ready for this game, plus they've added, three new guys. Do you have to sort of guess how they're going to implement Jalen Phillips and probably Michael Carter? I mean, do you expect to see Cooper DeJean outside? Do you know where?
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that it's tough to account for, and we just got to be ready to react. Obviously, Jalen. It's a little bit. He's going to be an edge rusher primarily. Could they move him inside? Yeah. Just going back and watching some of the Miami stuff, what they did with him, where he was getting his pressures. You saw him a little bit inside, primarily, on our right side. But we got to be able to adjust whatever situation. Obviously, Cooper DeJean, he's been playing inside and outside. So. Whether they use Carter inside and keep him outside or they put one of the other corners out there or whatever it may be, you just got to be ready to react.
I was wondering, similarly, just in general, how different is it approaching a game against a team coming off a bye, and how do you approach that? Do you rely on the film before? You expect there to be differences? How do you approach that?
Yeah, I think you got to go with what you see, but it's just like anything in the National Football League. This is why you have to have rules in place for the unscouted looks, which is to be expected, I think, from teams coming off a bye. But it's no different than early on in the season when you're not quite sure what everybody's going to be doing. That's why you have to know your rules and trust the guys next to you to do their job.
How quickly does it come in a game when you have to rely on those rules? Is it pretty quick when you say, okay, there's some unscouted?
No, I think it's every play. Because you're not quite sure. I mean, they could throw a curveball at you, and you got to be prepared for that. And that's why every play you got to be dialed in and know what your rules are and react accordingly.
You guys have been so good in the red zone all year until last week. So when you have a one-game blip on the radar, so to speak, do you double down on that the following week, or do you just trust that you've been doing things the right way the whole time? And
I mean, I don't want to overreact to anything. Obviously, you better acknowledge it. I think you acknowledge that it happened, and then you try to take the necessary steps to not allow it to happen again. I mean, I think about just, not to rehash it, but like in the first half, we got down there 3 times and had 6 points, and you had a fumble, you had a drive-stopping penalty, and you had a 2-minute situation where you might attack it a little bit differently. And then in the second half, you got a turnover on downs, another field goal, or a touchdown. So, you just don't want to overreact to that. You got to consider the situations and trust your process and how you go about doing it.
Who do you think you are with how many snaps Josh Jacobs can take? Not how many carries, but how often you can have him on the field from both a health standpoint and how much you would want to keep him in, because I assume he's a threat even when he's not there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think that's always the balancing act that you have to play each and every week. You know, he says he feels great, so that's a big plus. But yeah, we're definitely a different team when he is fully involved with our offense, and we got to make sure that he's a focal point, whether we're getting them the ball or not.